Okay.
It's 2:30 on January 13th, and I'll call the Finance Committee meeting to order. I'm Counselor Tim Mondu. I'm sitting in for Deputy Mayor Greg Grimes, who is sitting in for Mayor Bev Hand. So, but we'll still get things done. Any pecuniary interest?
None known.
Okay, no delegations. Prior minutes were approved at our December 2nd council meeting. No ongoing tasks. And we'll move right down to health and safety for the municipal office. Checking the sheet, I see nothing. So I'll move that we receive and file the health and safety sheet. Okay, we'll move right on to new business. Bank reconciliations for October. You want to do these like October together?
I've set them to do October and November together.
Okay, do them all?
But that's up to committee how they want to
Okay,
here do one motion to do them or however you wish to proceed.
one motion will work, I think. Anybody have any questions on the October reconciliations?
So what's happening here with this?
Just I've got it set up that we do one motion to file all four bank reconciliations or I mean we can do them individually as well, but for now I've set them up to do all four at with one motion for items 1 through 4.
Right. I'm just trying to get background on what was.
Oh, these are like the treasurer has to go through our bank statement. It's a bank reconciliation,
Okay.
so it's
Yeah.
just going through and making sure that things are being done as they're supposed to, that checks are cashed properly and deposits are recorded properly.
So when it says less outstanding checks, those are checks that we've issued that people have not cashed or.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Have we always done this?
We've done this for the auditor brought this up probably, I'm going to say 6 or 8 years ago,
Yeah.
and asked that you know, it was always just something done by the treasurer.
Yep.
And the auditor suggested that we should have it run by council in some way.
Okay. Yep, fair enough.
That's what we've been doing for a number of years now.
Okay.
So November. No questions. We'll move them all, items 1, 2, 3, 4 to be received and filed.
Mhm.
Okay, item number 5, written activity reports. New business.
This is something that I was looking to receive based on typical boards, committees. This is the only committee at the village that doesn't get like a written report on just base activities, what's happening type of thing. So I was hoping that we could start one in 2026 and just a simple monthly manager's report.
So like, when you say manager, you're talking, because this is all encompassing for finance administration, so it'd be treasurer as well as,
Yeah,
you're looking at a CEO as well?
it would be more like the CAO, like, and what brought this to my attention is on the Conservation Authority, the general manager does a monthly written report, and it's just very high level highlights. Attended a meeting for Conservation Ontario where we discussed XYZ, dealt with whatever, like just high level activity report that gets put into the our minutes and our records, and no different than what Mike and others submit on a monthly basis. What's happening in licensing or dog tag stuff or whatever's in the office, just office activities. So.
Okay. CEO Burns, you got any comments?
I just not particularly. I think we'll have to work out some details through as we do it, see what's, if the first one might not be what the end product looks like down the road.
Mhm.
So, I think start off with something and see if there's more detail,
And
there's no statistics to cover off
No.
or that type of thing.
what I've said the best, I don't want, what I don't want to do is overcomplicate it.
Mhm.
If it's more than a page, I think we're overthinking it. And if it's 5 or 10 bullets of just things that you as a CAO want to bring to the attention of the committee in a formal written report
Okay.
or presentation. So it would be just like, attended Blue Water Bridge meeting, discussion on the traffic or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Just so that we as a council and the committee just sort of know some of the highlights of what's going on, but not to the point where it's, copying minutes or details of the discussion, but just a very, like say, high level, less than a page bullet style, right?
So you're saying that bring it to the committee, the CAO reports to council. So do we, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's not really like part of the administration is in here, but is it something that we would do
It-
for council or?
It could go direct to council. I suggested it come to here because this is finance and administration, and he's the chief administrative officer. So, like I said, the office is the only department or building that doesn't submit a monthly report, right? Or any type of synopsis of what's happening. So,
Yeah, I
but I see
as
what you
far as
mean.
where it goes, yeah. I guess the relevance of where it goes depends on how much people, like how much one counselor pays attention to one of the committee that they're not on. So if
Right.
it were to go directly to council, then, it's directly in their
Right.
feed.
Yeah.
Where if it goes to committee, I don't know what different, I know
Yeah. 'Cause
different counselors do different things.
we do committee reports, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Like at our council meeting.
Yeah.
We just slot something in there for like a
The verbal.
one pager even
Mhm.
from the CAO on activities that are relevant or,
Mhm.
I don't know, I'm just.
So I
Throwing
guess
that
it's,
out there.
I
Do
think
we-
the report itself is reasonable. Just do we want to go to this committee or council?
Well, we couldn't defer this to our council
See
meeting
where
in 2
they prefer.
weeks and then
Okay.
ask
Sure.
everyone at council where they would like it to land. And then,
Okay.
but like I said, I want to reinforce that it's not to burden you or to create
Reasonable.
a big,
Just-
work,
Mhm.
project, just like, and I used to do my monthly report when I worked. I would just go through my Outlook calendar for the month and see what I did
Mhm.
and just, it's a quick summary of, and to talk about accomplishments and things that we've achieved that were, and then it's in written format and recorded. So,
Okay, so we refer that to our next council meeting. Okay. Next item,
the next one was something I know,
monthly financial report.
yeah, I've asked for this, a couple times, and Jim, you did mention that you would get on it. So I just wanted to bring it to the committee more as a more formal request, but
Mhm.
very similar to what we just talked about with yours, a simple, less than one page. We get the financial statements at each committee. We look at them. All I'm looking for is a overview. So at the February meeting, the finance committee would get a quick summary saying early in the budget year, spending's on track, no major variances, capital projects, a summary of that is underway. Or if there's a variance, like overtime in public works is trending negative because of a major snowstorm, but that is related to timing and will correct moving forward. Just again, very high level, not a ton of detail and not to create a overabundance of work, but just some sort of a synopsis, so that counselors, especially as lay people and not being financial experts, just have a written summary. So, and I know we've talked about it a few times, and
Yeah, Jane has talked about doing something like this before with the new financial software, right? But we don't have the new financial software yet, so typically I think something like this would probably be done on a quarterly basis.
okay,
And I think if what you're looking for is print off the financial statements, and then in the third month of the year or third month each 3 months, we look through and see where there's substantial variances and explain them. And then if there's, we would pick out maybe 10 accounts that we feel are outliers. And if that doesn't preclude somebody from asking
Right.
something else, if
And
you
is it-
identify
yeah.
one that we didn't, that you can still ask that
and
question.
it doesn't have to be, outliers, positive and negative, right? Could say that, utilities are trending favorable because of whatever, right? But just, I'm fine with quarterly. That makes sense. And we don't need like, pie charts and graphs are lovely, but I don't want to overburden this, that it becomes a big chore. It's just simply again, bullets and, I draw you to your attention, boom, 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 right? And then, and we can follow up with questions or have no questions, one or the other. So then can we go to, like the first one be April 1st?
Yeah, probably the first meeting, yeah.
The April
Yep.
meeting would
Yep.
have the first quarter. Okay.
Yeah, to do it before that is really, there's so little
Yeah.
Mhm.
done for the first few months.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what I the first one would be very, very, would be almost nothing, right? Because everything's trending properly. Okay.
Okay.
See, I'm very comfortable with what we do monthly because I just like numbers like this. So
Yeah.
anyways, I can figure it out myself, but if that's what, you want to do, we can see how we can get something together that will answer some questions for some people. Okay. So we'll shoot for the April meeting to have something report.
Thank you.
Excuse
You're gonna phone you to get that or?
No.
Okay.
me. No, it's not. I don't think it was me.
Okay.
Okay. Next item is technology allowance.
So this is something I'm proposing that council consider. Right now, the mayor and myself receive a monthly allowance paid twice yearly for cell phones and technology. I'm proposing that beginning January of next year, so it would be applicable for the next council, that we change the name of it to become a technology allowance, which is similar to what other communities have done, and extend it to all members of council, beginning with the next council that comes on board. I think our need to be connected is paramount in doing our jobs, both with cell phones, our iPads, our home internet. And this allows members of council to be partially compensated for some of those expenses related to having to have technology. It's no longer just a nice to have. We do Zoom meetings, we do all of our software, all of our agendas are delivered electronically. So it's just, and I proposed it as starting January to not impact the current budget, but allow time for it to be with the next council.
I have an alternate proposal.
Mhm.
All employees, admin, have a cell phone allowance, except for 3 counselors.
Mhm.
We get nothing today. So I'm just saying, if you add 3 counselors to what we have existing today, because I don't see, that's a minimal cost. Your proposal, I don't know how much it'll add to budget, but I don't see that's necessary. We receive a salary, which we can pay our cell phone bill or our home internet bill, because we have home internet anyway. So I don't see that as being part of my role as a counselor to ask the taxpayer to subsidize my internet. So my proposal is just add the three counselors who don't receive it. And
So to get the same amount as the deputy mayor, or because the village one is people get a phone and their bills paid directly, right?
There's a few people that get an allowance, like there's 2 or 3 employees that in the office that get an allowance. There's like myself, a number of us, just the phone is
And
provided and the bill is paid for you.
directly to tell us.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a bit of a mix, and then I'm not sure, I don't know off the top of my head if you and the mayor get the same
No, it's
allowance or if it's different. I'm not really sure why it would be, in my mind, it shouldn't be different. Her cell phone bill is no more than your cell phone bill theoretically.
I
mean,
think at
maybe
the
she has a
time it
different
was
provider.
related to just an assumption that she used hers more or relied on hers more,
Mhm.
just being at the mayor's level versus the deputy. But this was pitched before I was in on council, this started.
Yeah,
remember.
there's been allowances a lot around for,
I think it was just before we came on council. Like,
Yeah.
I remember Deputy Mayor Robson, I think, was involved in approving it, so.
so
I'm just saying, like, make it fair for everybody.
Mhm.
Like, you know, I don't need my cell phone paid, but you know, an allowance to help would be nice, you know?
So I just want to clarify, are you proposing that all 5 council members get the same amount? And we determine an amount, or are you saying add the 3 councilors who get nothing at the,
Well, as like, maybe we need to report to staff to see what what the amounts are, because I'm not aware of what the even amounts are. I'm just, you know,
would you know that? How much? 50?
50.
Okay, and the reason the mayor and mine was set at what it was to allow for hardware purchases, what I remember when it was presented to council. It was a little higher than the monthly bill, but that was to pay for the actual hardware as well of the phone.
so.
So I think the mayor now gets 150,
No, same.
same as me, or we get the same? Oh, I thought it was different. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's 125, I think. No, 75.
To me, I
It'll
think
make
this
us-
is a good one to let staff go
Okay.
back
Yep,
and
go back,
gather
get
some
a report.
information and
Yep.
see what.
Yeah, see,
There's no great big hurry on this one.
Nope.
And so I
No.
think this is the one that we should refer back for more information.
Okay, and maybe you can do some comparisons with other.
Yep.
Because in that note I attached, there were some examples of communities that have gone to that approach, so.
Okay. I think that'd be a good idea for the next one. I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it, but I think we should do a little, I think at the same time I'm gathering information about technology and allowances thing, the same.
Yep.
The same email can ask questions about childcare allowance
Sure.
as well, so.
that sounds fair
I
to
think
me.
that'd be a good one to
Staff
refer it.
as well.
Okay, so
For
both of
staff.
those, we're gonna refer back to staff to come back to the report and with some comparisons and recommendations.
Yep.
Perfect, thank you.
That's my thought anyway.
Yep, no.
Yeah. Next one, temporary increase to the VAT tax.
Yeah, so I'm proposing this. Our 150th anniversary is coming up, 2028. I know it seems like it's a long ways off, but 2 years from now, we'll be hopefully launching what should be a once in a 150-year sort of celebration. We only get one chance to do it right. I know we've talked about some legacy projects. We've got some money put aside for some of this. I know we talked about a new playground, at the waterfront. I know Mike has brought forward possibly year-round washroom under the bridge that we talked about could be part of the legacy project. I'm sure there's a lot of other ideas out there. I was just trying to find a way to take some of the burden off the taxpayer to do this. Toronto and other communities have put in temporary mat surcharges for special projects. Toronto now It's my understanding, based on what Councillor Burgess told us, theirs is currently 6%, and they have a 2.5% surcharge for the FIFA World Cup. So they've been generating extra money in advance of it so that they can put on some tourism-based things for their community. My thought here is that anything we do for our 150th will be tourism driven. And I think in my attachment it shows that if we were to start July 1st of this year and go through to the end of 2028, it'd be about an extra $700,000 in MAT revenue that we potentially could generate to go towards this event.
So that the 700,000, is that half of?
No,
So we have an agreement with Tourism Sarnia-Lambton, and kind of the provincial guidelines around MAT tax is that half the money generated has to go to a destination marketing group like Tourism Sarnia-Lambton. So if this were to move forward, we'd need to look into that and make sure we can even do it. We might be able to, I just don't know. Because of that agreement we have and the regulations around the MAT.
okay.
So that's something we need to look into a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, I know, I think we should discuss it with our hotel partners a little bit and see how they feel about it. So I think this would be a good one to refer back for more information.
Refer to staff.
I know Mayor Hand sent me a note and just said that Mark from TSL isn't a fan of a temporary surcharge. So maybe we could get communication from him on why he thinks it's a bad, or not bad, but he doesn't support it, or I don't even know if he doesn't support it. He doesn't recommend it.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, our current agreement says 50-50 split, right? So.
But we just have to clarify, is that on the surcharge?
Yeah, that's the part I don't know
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
So dig out the agreement and see if it's 50-50 on the 4% and any surcharges above and beyond, or if we talk to them and we do it, I assume anything we do for the 150th TSL, we could get involved in it. I would hope, given, and that some of that money and the surcharge could come back towards a Point Edward focused event or something like that.
So yeah, that's tourism is certainly one of the partners that we would reach out to on that matter.
Okay. So we'll refer that back and you'll bring some.
Yeah.
Yep. Just keeping in mind, if July 1st is what I proposed, we could go January 1st if it's
Right.
involved, but I'd want to put at least some sort of a deadline so that it stays in our radar there. And the next one's similar. So this relates to short-term vacation rentals. In my notes, if I book on Airbnb, there's no MAT on that through their online platform. I went to Airbnb for Toronto, and the MAT is included on the platform. I know Mayor Hand commented on that the Niagara group are doing a report. I don't know when that's.
They're not really related to each other.
I didn't
What
think
the
so.
Niagara group is doing is not, what they're looking about is putting in a licensing plan or something for short-term rentals. This is, so regardless of what happens on the zoning side,
Mhm.
that doesn't affect us implementing the MAT tax on short-term vacation rental. This is more an issue of identifying them. As I said in my report, I've reached out to Lambton Shores back a while ago, and the indication they gave me, I thought, was that they had good luck with Airbnb, but not anybody else.
Okay.
So they gave me a contact for Airbnb, and I've reached out to them. Apparently we have a different person from Airbnb than they do. So I reached out to their person. He's put me in contact with our person, and I haven't heard back from our person yet. So I'm working to see, because somebody else told me that Airbnb will not collect MAT tax for a municipality, but showing that it does happen in Toronto. So
Yes, because I went right on to book a condo in Toronto and the taxes were 20 point something. So it's 13% plus the 8.5, and it was like 21% additional charge on that. So, and from what I've heard or read is you just have to change the bylaw, advise Airbnb of the change, and then they're, and although you're hearing differently, obligated to collect it on our
Yeah.
behalf and remit it. So,
I've heard one
Yeah.
say that it's goes very well, and I've heard the other one say they won't do it for you.
Yes.
So it seems kind of
and
Until I
what
talk to
I've seen a
myself, I don't know.
trend, the Village Inn is now booking rooms for Airbnb, which would make them, it appears, Matt, exempt because, which maybe a whole nother way to enforce that, but, and with 4 Points bringing their wing online, that's going to reduce hotel inventory
Mhm. And that's something I reached out directly to Orma, the hotel motel group, that the gentleman that we have contact with that looks after our collection for us. And we're working on finding out, he says that even if they're advertising through Airbnb, they should still be collecting
Okay,
because they're in a hotel, like in his opinion, they should still be collecting. So we're
Okay.
working on he'll reach out to them and
Okay.
yeah.
and in my note, just for people that didn't read it, I tried to book a first weekend in May online through Airbnb, and I found 12 rental units in the village of Prince Edward that were available. 3 of them were at the Village Inn, but, and then I tried to book a week, Monday to Friday in April in the village, and there were 11 rentals. So I think there's a significant amount of inventory out there to now start, trying to get that revenue back. So it's not just 1 or 2 little places out there. So
Well, I know there's more than Airbnb. There's VRBO, there's other platforms that people can book through.
Yeah.
Now, when you talked to Orma, did you happen to mention that, because I know they get money, they must get money in from these other platforms, because I know I've seen taxes listed for like VRBO or whatever.
So yeah, I did not talk to him
Okay.
I did tell him that we were thinking of implementing on short-term vacation rental properties. And he was happy to hear that. And, when you need something from us,
Sure.
let us know. We'll work with you. I didn't go into specific
Okay.
platforms with
Okay.
him, and just, it's a really good idea though, to ask him if he's got experience with other municipalities and collecting.
And I know I read, and I can't remember exactly where it was, but there is a company that before you, well, it's maybe more on the licensing side, before you do that, they can find all of these properties that nobody else seems to be able to find.
Mhm.
They do, they're like a private investigator type of thing, and they give you the list, so you know who to target for your investigation, or, for your licensing. So I don't know, and they're like flying under the radar, but this company, you pay a fee, one-time fee, and they'll come up with the list for you. So, and I can't remember which one it is now, but I remember reading that in somebody's bylaw that they had contacted a company. But there's so many of these out there as far as bylaws for STVRs, like
Mhm.
holy smokes. But that's
And I think if we can, I put in for July 1st, but if we're able to do it sooner, that's all the
Mhm.
better. But I mean, or if it takes longer to implement, but, and then, yeah, I'm glad you clarified that the licensing would be a separate activity.
Yeah, they're
Above, like outside this.
Yeah.
Because some people think that you have to license in order to collect the mat, but I don't think you have to, because it's just on the platform.
right. Yeah, I guess when we get a licensing system in place, we'll be communicating with those owners about the mat tax.
Mhm.
But if we don't know they exist, we're not gonna get either one, right? So it's
Although the platform knows they exist because they're
right, the
booking
ones
through.
that are on the platform.
Yes, yeah.
And then it's a matter of like, I know of Airbnb and the VR Verbo.
Yeah.
I don't know of any others. I did see one advertising the other day, but I don't remember the name of it. So I'm not aware of a whole bunch of
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, I know of a few others.
Yeah,
I know there's
Say-
booking.com, they do them
Yeah,
as well.
booking.com, and there's a couple others that are out there.
But I'm sure OMRA or whatever they're called
OMRA, yeah.
would know of many
Yeah.
of these
Yeah, they
platforms,
would.
right?
so booking.com, I mean, I've heard of them for hotels,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
do
That's what I've
Airbnbs
heard,
and such
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's, again, so then it's just a matter of once we become aware of them, kind of tracking them down and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully the village is small enough that people will, come forward on their own and
Mhm,
do the right thing and let us know what they're doing, so.
mhm. But yeah, I could say this time, what I'm after is that the revenue through the platforms, right? Easy to capture, easy to do. And if somebody rents one on the side to a friend, it's not as big of a thing but if it's in the platform, then I think we should be getting the mat on that. And it levels the playing field for hotels, right? So an Airbnb is 8% or 4% less than a hotel right now, so.
Yep.
Okay,
So that'll be for the staff.
And so maybe we can, like, the recommendation here is that staff continue to gather information about applying the MAT to STVRs and with a goal of implementing the MAT for STVRs. We'll put by July 1st, but
Yeah.
we'll just beef up the recommendation a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
And if it is, like I say, we'll put July 1st. If you can't make it, we just get an update. If it's earlier, then it's a
As
bonus.
long as we can keep moving forward.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we won't even put a date in it then.
Okay.
We'll just say with the goal of implementing this program, we'll
Yep.
adjust the wording a little bit, but,
Okay,
okay.
gonna move that.
Yep.
Okay, next. Completion of a strategic plan.
So I brought this forward. I include in the background that we were working on a strategic plan and then it got stalled after we got the consultant's report. I'd like to see us revive it and try and move it forward. During Environmental Services Committee, we did talk about grants, and I've heard from some grant writers that having a strategic plan helps with your approvals and submissions. So again, we're a small village. We don't have a lot going on. The strategic plan doesn't have to be a 75-page document or a great big high gloss book. All I'm looking at is that we create just a standard strategic plan, let it grow over the next decade and evolve and become some sort of a guiding principle. And I think, and I put in the recommended timeline of May 1st, because that's when the nomination period opens for council. I thought if we could get it approved, even at the draft stage, and then present it to the new council in November as one of their first acts of business is to approve that strategic plan. And then they have, the new council members, a strategic plan to help guide their decisions, help guide staff. And I think it's hard to argue that a strategic plan doesn't have value, and almost every major organization out there has one. So I'd like to see us, and I say we made some good progress with our first back in 2022 and 2023. The end result wasn't what we envisioned or wanted, but I think we could get it to that final stage, to the finish line. And if it involves having to spend a little money on a consultant to help with the final writing, I would support that. But Jim, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is probably good timing for it, given that we've, normally this time of year we'd be doing budget work.
Right.
So we're not.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
We're going to fill that little gap you had.
it's not like there's gaps to fill,
Yeah.
but at least we don't have to worry about the budget. So I think now the one thing I would say that should just, I think we should remove the reference to the mayor from there.
Okay.
I think it's,
Is
I
it
mean, the mayor and council will be involved, but I think,
over staff?
yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. But other than that, and I mean, I don't know if we need all of that detail
Nope.
in the motion,
Yep.
but I would say stop at remove or presented to council for approval no later than May 1st of 2026.
Okay.
And then
Mhm.
Tim, your thoughts?
go
or-
there and
No, I'm on board. I think it's very helpful to give us direction. I think we have direction, but it's nice to be able to go back and revisit so that we can stay on course,
Mhm.
right?
One of the things that sort of drew my attention to was when we were doing our donations and sponsorships, and we all said, well, we tend to like to donate the money for these types of things. But if it was in a strategic document, it would be clearly spelled out that the village supports, local as a priority, and then things that bring tourism and
Mhm.
so I think it helps with all that decision making. So
Answers a bunch of questions.
Yeah. And council doesn't go lame duck on May 1st, right?
no, I don't, I'll have to check the regulations, but I believe there's no potential for lame duck until nomination day, I believe.
That's May 1st.
No.
Till nominations close. you mean.
September.
Oh, that's when they close, right? I think it's when they close.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll have to review that, but I'm pretty sure
Yes.
lame duck
think it's-
starts, and it's, I haven't looked at that for a little while, but it's if 2/3 of council is definitely not coming back,
Or the potential to.
but I'm pretty sure there's no potential for lame duck until
Nominations
nomination
close.
day closes. Yeah.
Okay. So that May 1st date, I would be okay with adjusting. I only picked May 1st because I didn't know if that's the day nominations open, right? And
Yeah.
whether,
I mean, let's leave it at May
Okay.
1st for now. It gives us something to work towards.
okay,
Puts a little bit of pressure on,
Yeah.
a little bit of incentive to keep moving forward. So I think leave that date for now. And if we're working towards it and we need more time, then we'll at least be able to share with council where we stand.
Sure.
and I don't know how Councilor Mondu feels, but I'm serious that if, we talked about workload, if there's somebody out there that can help write a strategic plan, then I think you can come back to us and say, we need a couple $1,000s for like more of a writer than an actual strategic planner, right? So, we wouldn't hire the person that we've used previously, like.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think it's that important that if we need to pull some money out of a reserve or a budget, that we should try and.
Okay. Next one then,
Yeah, so I brought this forward.
I'll just say it's what's it called? It's called parking on driveway aprons.
Yeah. So we have the winter driving ban. Winter driving, I'd love that. Winter parking ban. We don't get, so a lot of driveways in this village are single width, fit a car or two. The province is pushing density in residential areas. Some people struggle on where to park their cars. Two people I know of have been parking their car across the driveway, one of which was contacted about that it's not allowed, which it isn't. My son, who's a bylaw enforcement officer in another municipality, came home and said, I was talking to him about it. He said, I can't believe you guys don't allow that, because they do for the winter to get cars off the street. So all I'm saying is, can we amend our parking to allow people only during the winter ban to park across the apron? It's very restrictive the way they do it in the city of Kitchener. You can't be within 15 meters of an intersection. You cannot overhang the grass, the sidewalk, the roadway. The entire vehicle must be on the cement of the apron. And so there'd be very few that this would affect, but it would just allow them to do it during the winter ban without having to worry about the potential of a ticket. So now Mike's here. I don't know how he feels about as far as plowing in a car with a mirror sticking out or whatever, if there's concerns that way, but a lot of municipalities have done it, and
I would certainly like to take it back to identify some of the aprons. It would be an interesting perspective to see how wide they are, to see if they would fit. There would be concerns about plowing. There's concerns potentially about, if someone is bringing a tractor or a snow blower down, stone hits the car, responsibilities, where
Right.
those details fall. I would certainly,
Yeah.
I'd take it back and
Okay.
look at it as staff.
yep, that's good. And even my son said in Kitchener, you have to park still facing the same way of traffic, right? So that you're not like, if you look at some of the bylaws out there, it's very, very restrictive on how you can do it. So, okay. So we'll wait to hear back from, Mike on any.
See, my thinking on
Yeah.
this is it's a resident issue, not a village issue. Like, people have too many cars. You can only have as many cars as you have parking spots, but that's, you know,
Yeah, I hear you.
like, sorry,
And, I know a couple.
Mike will come up with something.
Yeah, I know a couple of people, they, have take home work vehicles and need to park, and they park on the road all the other time, but it's tight in the driveway, but yeah.
So
Yep.
we're okay with the recommendation here to refer this back to the operations committee and
Yep,
have recommendations go through there?
yes.
Good.
Do you have events?
I don't have anything.
Yeah, I don't have
I
anything.
don't have events. This is where we miss Bev.
Usually, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it earlier and there's nothing that I'm aware. I mean, there might be something in, I guess there's Silver Stick this weekend.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's something Bev would have mentioned. I was trying to think of things and I didn't think of that one, but that's Boys Silver Stick starting Friday morning at 7:30.
yeah. So be prepared for a lot more traffic on the roads and on the, in the parking lots and,
In the restaurants.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is always nice pulling into our arena parking lot and seeing all the license plates from all over, and it's interesting. It's nice to see that many people are up here in our community, so.
Okay, nothing else. We'll move on to 2026 dog tag program. And CO Burns has got a report.
So, as of the writing of the report, I hadn't heard from public health, but I have in the meantime. So it doesn't directly impact them. The big advantage for them is when we license a dog, we require proof of vaccination. And so it's a good opportunity, and the health unit is responsible for ensuring that animals are vaccinated and enforcing that legislation. So it's a good way for the public to be reminded that vaccination is required. And then it does help them potentially if there's a biting incident, you know, Bob gets bit on the corner and what dogs you have registered at that corner, and we can look at the address, we might be able to help them out that way. So it doesn't directly impact them, but it could help them in certain situations, was their feedback. And then the feedback we got from the Humane Society was they feel that it's a program that's worth keeping in place. So my proposal was we've been selling a few licenses. I actually think we should go the other way. And I know municipalities have, in the past, they've brought in a contractor of some sort and engaged in a door-to-door campaign and had somebody go to every door in the village and knock on doors. And usually, if there's a dog in there, and sell, get a more accurate inventory of the dogs that are in the village, get them their licenses. And then in the town of Petrolia, once you have a license on your property, you are automatically charged for that until you go in and provide them evidence that you don't have the animal anymore. So, and I believe that, I shouldn't say I believe, I know that there's a deadline. I can go in and pay my, whatever my licensing fee is. There's no tag. I just have to go pay the fee. If I do it by, I believe it's January 31st, the fee is X. If you wait until after, it goes on your property taxes and it's X plus whatever.
Or something like that.
Yeah, and yeah, it's not just a couple bucks. It's a relatively substantial amount of money to not pay ahead of time. So I think, I don't know if our software can do that or not. We have an animal licensing piece, module on our software that we use for licensing. I don't know that we can integrate it and hook it in with taxes or not, but I would like to investigate that and see if we can do that. But so my proposal for now is that we try to find a contractor of some sort that would go door to door. I thought about the possibility of having a student do it. I'm not saying no to that completely, but my concern with that is just that odd property that's, I would want
Mhm.
somebody that's quite firm and isn't going to be pushed around by, there are the occasional property that that might be a little more difficult than most. So,
So my son had a job doing this with the city of Kitchener.
Mhm.
His job in the winter was as snow and ice inspector for they'd go around and issue tickets for not clearing the snow and ice on your sidewalks. And during times of the year like this, they would do dog tag enforcement. And so he was an actual sworn bylaw enforcement officer. So when he knocked at your door and you had a dog barking and you answered, he would say, "You have a dog." All of their stuff is in a software. So he would just on his phone say, "There's no dog tag issued to this address.
mhm.
Do you want to buy one right now?" And he would be able to do it on his phone. He did have a couple people who would give him a hard time, but he had the authority to issue a ticket for a dog on license.
Okay.
So that gave him authority to act, right? So students, unless we swear them in or whoever does it, unless we swear them as a temporary bylaw enforcement
Mhm.
officer, because if you're just there saying, "Please buy a tag,"
Right.
you lose some of that authority. So I don't know whether that's a positive, but I think I think it's a good way. It's a great approach because as you said, you hear the dog barking when you ring the doorbell, and then the automated renewal. I think and that puts the onus on the dog owner to come in and do I have to declare pecuniary interest because I have 2 dogs or no? But it's on the dog owner to come in and cancel the
Yeah.
automatic renewal, which I think is the right way to do it.
Yeah, it saves a lot of hassle. And like, as I say, I have no idea what is required within our financial software to, Greg Grimes didn't come in by January 31st. So we're charging 2 times 50.
Yeah.
Or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if all we have to do is click a button. And
Yes.
say unpaid people are getting a bill on their taxes.
Yeah.
But we can investigate that and do some investigation and see what the capabilities of the software are. But
So is our
First-
timeline status quo for this 2026, and then look at a summer program or
yeah, I would say so.
like
Yeah,
to get people
27.
signed up for 2026, and then in 2027 the new program would be
that would be my thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the actual tag itself, like in Petrolia, I'm expected to keep my tag that I've had for 3 or 4 years now.
Okay.
They don't get a new tag every year, the actual piece of it.
right.
I mean, the cost of those tags is minimal. It's
Yeah.
like $150, Jen, for a couple hundred of them. It's $200 for 200. Yeah, it's not huge anyway. So and there are people that like the tag. They,
Yeah.
they come in and they want certain numbers. Like, obviously somebody wants number 1 all the time. There's a lady in the other day and she had 007 for her dog 2 years in a row. She was just thrilled that she got number 007. So there are people that like to have the tag.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I
you say
think
Petrolia, you get a tag for life of the dog and you maintain that number,
Yeah.
which makes sense. Like why
as
Why-
long as you don't lose the tag.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but yeah, again, I think that's something we don't need to make that decision
Right,
today.
yeah, yeah,
We can
no,
look into it.
that can be your recommendation. how
Yeah,
you do
we can figure it out. So that's my thought process there.
So we'll make that recommendation.
And
All what Jim said.
Yeah, yeah. And part of my, like, we'll investigate the thought of a student. You get the right mature person in there, like it's,
Well, the
I'm not writing off the idea
Yeah.
completely.
Lambton College run a police foundations program.
Mhm.
So you get a student who wants to be a police officer or bylaw officer who,
Yep.
because
That'd be a good experience.
they're trained on conflict resolution, de-escalation, dealing with people. So you get a student from that program to do it for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then just hope that they generate enough revenue in dog tags to,
Yeah. And it wouldn't be hard to figure out how many dog tags do you need to sell in order to pay.
it doesn't have to be full,
And-
doesn't have to be full-time either.
Yeah,
Like they
that's-
can go out, they could have a full-time job and do it in the evenings for
Mhm.
all,
Right,
couple hours a
Yep.
night to go around the village.
okay, so we will consider all options when we get to that
Right?
phase of things.
Any other new business?
Oh, yes, I had some things here.
You already had a bunch of stuff.
I know. It's my 2026 resolution. It's the only thing I did. I'm not losing any weight. So the one thing I had was budget press release, but I see it just got
Yeah,
out.
it's been
Um,
on our website for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
No, not a couple of weeks. A week. But yes, it was sent out today.
okay. Do we, have we sent out emails to the people that applied for grants or donations to let them know? that-
No, I've
Okay.
talked to a few, but that's one of the things that's,
Okay, I've had 2 groups ask me what the status was. And I said, I know you got approved. I can't remember the number. So I didn't want to give them a number either, but I know the service club were looking.
yeah,
and
I've
for-
talked to him.
Okay, so I did tell him to call you. I
Yeah.
said, call Jim and find out.
Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah, that's one of the things kind of on the list for once we get through committee day.
and then maybe Jane can explain that people that pay their taxes monthly, there's a number of people who are saying it's gone down versus gone up. Like, is that because of the fact that we're passing the budget early and not having a quarter of the year at the old rate?
Great. I'm not-
Mhm.
So I like, that's what I would have paid in the first month is based on last year. So then from July to December, the taxes increase, right,
Okay.
compared to the first 6 months.
Right,
Right, and now it's again, and now we recalculate the tax for this year and based on the last year billing divided by 12. So of course, that's the amount is slightly, kind of lower than the December one or the November one. Does that make sense? Because
so.
for 2025, it's a different rate. For January to June, that's one rate based on 2024.
Right.
And for July to December, that's a remaining one divided by 6,
okay, oh, okay,
right? So this is just kind of a calculation. It's not huge, maybe $10, $50 maximum, if there's no changes for the assessment of value.
so if their January 1st payment was X amount, July it may go up? Okay, so. Right, so, yeah.
Still, lower than, last 6
Okay,
months.
so, and is that would that have happened last year as well? And then they've just forgotten that it went up in July, I guess? Yeah, okay. Okay, and then I did share with Jim an address, a neighbor of mine it changed.
For me, whatever, and I have the same question.
Yeah, and then I gave Jim an address for a house near me it's not to discuss here, but he'll follow up with you on that. Right, okay, perfect. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
So Jane, do we still, our first installment still goes based on 2025 taxes, even though we've set the 2026 rate,
Because we have to see the company. one,
Right, or the government.
The one we have interim and a final one. And the company is always until May, we receive their bylaw and the final workshop.
Oh, that's a
We
drag.
have our local, tax.
Right, and we have the education amount, right?
Zero, but lucky to us, it's no change.
Okay, yeah, so that makes sense, because I
That's
was
good.
wondering why we have to do the interim, but it's because of the county.
Okay. It's good to,
Well, it'll help explain it to people too, like
Yep.
that, yeah. Because I think everyone thinks that because we passed our increase in November, that we should be able to predict what the entire 2026 tax
Okay.
rate will be, but
yeah, we can for the village.
us,
portion.
yeah, so,
Good.
It's good to know.
right,
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, if that's all the new business, we'll go to review the financial statements. In there,
You're the one that understands and tell us what you see there.
I have a question.
Good.
Do we know, like, for the village of Point Edward right now, I'm seeing a variance of like $3 million.
Yeah.
But that's not in fact the truth.
Let's
I
hope
see
not.
3 million on paper, so when, do we know when we're gonna have, like, close off 25?
Once it's done, the audit is done, we will have final 2025 financials. And that's the $3 million, that's basically is a Sinclair project, right?
Okay,
So, for 2025, we have $1.3 million for budget. But actual cost is more than that,
yes,
because that's a carryover from last year, 2024, the approved budget. But the thing is, for our capital project, the account manager in our system is considered as expense. So that's kind of annual basis. It's not as set out as a carryover from last year to this year, whatever you have, the approved budget and actual spending. So
Okay.
that's still annual basis. That's why it's compared. But it's at the end, it won't affect the current year budget because this is capital. And the fund has been approved during 2024 budget. So it still goes to the, the kind of the money we left over from some last year, 2024, charged to the reserve. The money, whatever the remaining, put in the reserve and now still charged to the reserve.
okay,
Yeah, that's the key factor cause the variance. I cannot review that. I said, oh, this is a huge, but it's almost a $4.5 million for the actual Sinclair capital project and 1.28 because it's a budget. So that's
okay. Thank you. I knew you had an answer. Okay, we'll approve those financial statements?
Yep.
Receiving file or whatever. Okay. Now we're gonna go in camera, or are we not?
Yeah, there's a couple items there.
Couple items are in camera, so. And we're gonna go in camera and we won't come back out online, okay?
You want to announce our next meeting date?
Yep. It's February 10th at 2:30 in the afternoon. And